The Dallas Mavericks obviously just traded for Kyrie Irving, and you would pretty much know that no matter what, unless you've been living under a rock for the past month at this point. But as you know, obviously they just traded for Kyrie Irving, forming a duo between Luka Doncic and Kyrie, forming probably one of the most interesting NBA duos in a very, very long time, maybe if ever, to see how they were going to work out. Now, yes, they haven't had the best start to their new tenure together. I don't think they've won a game yet since they've been on the court at the same time, but they have played very good alongside each other though, so I do think that they are going to still be able to find success eventually, and I'm maybe getting to how far I think they can go and how I think they're going to work as a roster going forward. So if that sounded interesting to you, please hit the like button and subscribe button, mean the absolute world to me. Without further ado, without running on too much, let's get right into this video. So the first thing I really want to get to for this video is going to be basically like, how are they going to work together? Because obviously you have Luka Doncic, maybe the best white guy to ever live in the NBA and just a top 5 player in the NBA, MVP level guy, but then you also have Kyrie Irving, also another one of the most talented players in the entire NBA, and both are very used to being the guy on their team, or at least one of the guys on their team in Kyrie Irving's situation, and being a primary ball handler. And Luka Doncic has never really played with anyone else that has ever taken his touches away at any point, so it's going to be very interesting to see how Luka kind of adapts his play to playing alongside someone like Kyrie Irving. Like I said, they are two of the best offensive players in the entire NBA together, but it's going to become a kind of a situation to say that's a very realistic possibility. It is the fourth quarter in a very, very close game against another very good team, and now you have two guys that are more than capable of making the final buzzer beater shot and are both very, very clutch, who have made very clutch shots in their past games and their past seasons as well at this point in their career. But now, who do you give the ball to? Do you give it to the young MVP level Luka Doncic, who has proven to do it in the playoffs multiple times, or the veteran Kyrie Irving, who's also one of the iciest players in NBA history? Who do you draw that play up for? And do egos get in the way? Is that going to rub some people the wrong way? And as you know, Kyrie Irving has, to put it the best, an interesting personality, and from what I've seen, Luka Doncic is at least a little bit more reserved than Kyrie Irving, so their kind of egos and personalities may collide if that situation ever does kind of oppose itself or kind of rear its ugly head, and it probably will at some point in this NBA season after the All-Star break. So it would be very interesting to see how they handle that type of situation going forward as a coaching staff, as a team chemistry standpoint, and from just a whole bunch of other standpoints as well. And then you also add the fact that they're both elite passers, but also love to have the ball in their hands. So who's going to lose their touches? Because neither one of them can keep the same amount of touches they both had before they were traded. Well, someone has to lose their touches, and will anyone be okay with that? That's going to be very, very interesting to see. And I do think Luka Doncic will probably end up being the one to lose his touches to kind of keep Kyrie happy, because it means more for Dallas to re-sign Kyrie at this point than it does for Luka to stay happy, because he's kind of a for sure thing locked up for at least the next 4 years. Kyrie Irving could easily walk just by himself if he wants to by the end of the season, and we have seen he is very much a flight risk in pretty much any situation he's ever been in. But even with all those problems, or at least potential problems they could have together, I do think eventually they are going to be able to play together just due to how talented they are at pretty much everything besides defense. They can both handle the ball very well. They can both pass the ball at an elite level. They can both score anytime they want to. And I just think they're way too talented for this not to work out, assuming a personal beef doesn't start or anything. So I think their talent level is just more makes up for any of their other possible problems that could pop up on this team. And I think no matter what, this duo by themselves gets them to the second or third round of the NBA playoffs. Then even kind of diving a little bit deeper into this overall team as well, they still have a very solid roster around them as well, as they have guys like Tim Hardaway Jr., who although isn't a great player, he's a very solid veteran that is going to be very, very good for them. He's been that way for years, and he's going to still remain that consistent presence on the court and be able to do the dirty work and the little things that every team loves to have. And he's just one of those veteran level players that you love to have on a possible contending level team. And then also there's Christian Wood, who is their big free agent addition going into this, or did they trade for? I don't know. They either traded or signed Christian Wood, and Christian Wood is a very, very solid player and probably one of the best players off of anyone's bench. He's one of those guys that can get a bucket anytime you want. He's very versatile due to his size, and overall I'm very surprised that the Brooklyn Nets didn't get him as well in the Kyrie Irving deal, but they weren't able to get him probably due to money reasons. They would rather Spencer Dinwiddie in them, so they were able to still keep Christian Wood, which is a huge keep, because now off their bench they get a legitimate solid guy who is going to consistently give you about 15 points per game, 8 rebounds, okay rim protection, and just an overall very versatile player. So I think Christian Wood, being able to keep him, goes a very long way with making this team better when it comes to long-term success and making this a deeper team than they would have been if they had to get rid of someone like Christian Wood in that trade. And then even one of the more unsung heroes of this roster is Josh Green, who is currently a young guy having one of the best years of his career, and at this point actually having the best year of his career, and he is really making an impact just by doing all the little things. He's very athletic, and he just does everything that they kind of need to ask for him, and overall he's just been a very solid presence all year for this Dallas Mavericks team. And then another one of their more underrated role players on this roster is their rookie Jaden Hardy, who they were able to get with the 37th overall pick, and he was picked purely because he is a very good athlete that had tons of scoring potential, and that scoring potential has been hitting so far, especially for the 37th overall pick, and he has had games where he looks like a future star in the making, and he has just been a very, very nice presence for them at times. Now, obviously, he has had his inconsistencies, and he hasn't had the best time all the time, and it's kind of been a roller coaster season for him, but he's also a rookie that was picked in the second round, so you kind of expect that from him, and the flashes that he has shown have been very, very good, and you have to be happy if you are the Dallas Mavericks. Now, although I doubt he helps them much when it comes to playoff time, these last few games in the regular season, I'm sure he will be able to give them a few more 20 pieces off the bench that will go a long way in helping them win a few games, and those few games that he helps them win are very, very valuable in an extremely tight-packed Western Conference playoff race. And the last two role players on their list is pretty much Dwight Powell and Davis Bertans. Dwight Powell is just an average starting level center. He's a little undersized for the position, but he's okay at it. And then Davis Bertans, against some teams that don't have a big that can really guard the perimeter at all, he can be a matchup nightmare due to his elite three-point shooting with his size. So depending what team they play, he could be a huge problem for anyone, but really them two are just average level players, but they are still pretty big pieces to the rotation on any given night. And overall, this team is very, very solid and fairly deep as well, with a good amount of versatility to go along with those superstar duo that they have in Kyrie and Luka. So I think they do have a good enough supporting cast to go at least to the second round in the NBA playoffs, and it wouldn't surprise me at all if they were able to make the Western Conference Finals either. But now the real question is, do I think they could make the NBA Finals? And honestly, I don't know, because the Lakers, in my opinion, got a whole lot better this trade deadline, but also I think the Denver Nuggets are very good. The Pelicans, when they're fully healthy, are very good. The Memphis Grizzlies, it is going to be a tight race no matter what, so it really depends how much Luka and Kyrie can figure out how to play with each other and how much chemistry they can actually build together, because if they're able to get to peak performance together, there's no telling how far this team could actually go, but that is going to be very hard to do with a very short time span until the NBA playoffs actually do start. So I do think it's going to be very hard for them to get to that point, so I think that they're more of a conference finals peak type team, maybe second round exit for sure team, more than they are an NBA Finals contender. But wouldn't surprise me at all if they're able to make some kind of crazy dark horse run, their chemistry builds, and they do end up making the finals as well, because I think it is a very, very kind of parity-driven Western Conference this year, and there's a good amount of teams that can actually make it to the NBA Finals out of the West this year, the Dallas Mavericks being one of those dark horses as well. But unfortunately, guys, that's my first video, so comment below. Do you agree with me? Do you think the Dallas Mavericks could maybe make the finals? How far do you think they will go? How good do you think Luka and Kyrie could be together? Any of your thoughts in the comment section below. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe button, mean the absolute word to me, and I hope you have a blessed day, because I had a blessed day, so you need to have a blessed day. All glory to God. See you in the next video. Goodbye. Boo. Blah, blah.